Hi, my dear colleagues, and hi, Professor Sama. Now I continue when my colleague Ahmed was finished. Now I will talking about the writer from India. He was name is Naibul. Vildahar Surras Naibul was born in rural Trinidad on 17 August. In 1932, the island of his birth was completed post-colonial patchwork of hierarchical tensions and subtle heritage. And his grandparents had been laborers, part of the great 19th century Indian diaspora who had settled in the Caribbean. The young Vidya was raised as Hindu, part of displaced community within a plantation society. It was a blend of stories, customs, and ethnic identities, which later formed an important part of his work. Now, what are the opinion of the writers about him? This part for writer is Orhan Pamuk when he said, not with sugary magic realism, but with their demons, their messages and horrors which made them less victims and more human. So, for the Turkish writer Orhan Pamuk, Naipul represented third world people, not with sugary magic realism. Why? Because which made them less victims and more human. But to his detractors, Naipul was essentially political pairing witness against the post-colonial world, the great writing but shielded from criticism by virtue of being one of them. Now we have the next opinion for Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie talking about in-person share video could be available but just as often. He hardly irascible and quickly provoked to pale. He enjoyed epic feuds with friend and foe, acted inexplicably to women, and gloried in general lack of sensitivity to all who crossed his path. When Salman Rushdie went into hiding after the satanic verses, for instance, Nabal described the vow as an extreme form of literary criticism. Then he threw back his head and laughed. Now we move to famous works. Nabal has many works like number one, A House of Mr. Biswas, Miguel Street, An Area of Darkness, The Enigma of Arrival, A Bend in the River. Awards: Nobel Prize in Literature, Man Booker Prize, Versailles Prize for the freedom of the individual in the society. For his novels, A House of Mr. Biswas, 1961, A Bird in the River, 1979, Away in the World, 1994. So, he was also nominated for the Man Booker International Prize, winner of the W. H. Smith Literary Award for his book The Mimic Man in 1967. Awarded the Judaism Prize for the Freedom of the Individual Society and the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2001. So finally, to conclude, This presentation, which tells us the author was tired from suffering in his life when he immigrated to England in this period. The suffering started growing up in India. Nepal was surrounded by poverty and conflict. His upbringing greatly influenced his writing style. His novel often contain a crime and satirical accent that conveys a negative and inaccurate picture of his subject. Thank you for listening. Please watch this next video.